Elkhorn Slough is one of the largest estuaries in California that provides essential habitat for over 700 species, from sea otters to birds. This slough is part of 10% of historical wetlands left in California. With recent floods, KSQD's Elnaz Sarbar Boczek wonders what kind of pollution has gone into this sensitive ecosystem.
It's a sunny afternoon in Elkhorn Slough. I'm standing at the edge of the water along the 7 miles of water channels that reach Monterey Bay on one side and are flanked by tidal salt marshes at the other. Water's low and sandpipers are pecking for crabs on the exposed mudflats. White egrets are standing still, waiting to ambush a fish. It's a paradise for birdwatchers. Birds are not the only residents of the Elkhorn Slough. The executive director of the Elkhorn Slough Foundation, Mark Silberstein, says it's a hotspot for biological diversity.
We've identified over 100 species of fishes, 340 species of birds in a circle with a radius of 15 miles encompassing Elkhorn Slough. The densest concentration of sea otters on the California coast now takes refuge in Elkhorn Slough. Big populations of harbor seals, sea lions. It's a veritable circus of wildlife.
Elkhorn Slough has been designated as an internationally important wetland. Still, it is surrounded by industry and agriculture. In mid-March, when the Pajaro River breached its levee after heavy rains, flood water made it to the slough, potentially bringing chemicals with it. It also caused 60 gallons of waste oil to spill in the business 2 miles north of the slough. Dave Fellis is the reserve manager, and he describes the immediate effects of the flooding.
The floods brought a whole bunch of fresh water into the back end of the slough. And so it flowed for several days, and it was pretty much pure fresh water. That has a direct impact on the animals that live in saltwater. Tremendous loss of invertebrates and, these animals that live in the mudflats of saltwater.
Fellis says the invertebrates will come back, but he's concerned about the presence of pesticides, even from decades ago, that could settle in the mudflats and affect the invertebrates and the animals that feed on them. This is not new to Mark Silberstein, the executive director of the Elkhorn Slough Foundation.
This happened once before in my tenure in 1995. The Pajaro River breached its levee after many days of heavy rain. Right about the same day, I think it was March 10th, 1995, we saw the collapse of a Caspian tern breeding colony. Caspian terns are the largest of the terns, predatory diving seabirds that catch fish on the fly. They're dramatic, beautiful.
That year, there were no successfully hatched chicks. There were many broken eggs and chicks with deformities. The Department of Fish and Wildlife Lab in Sacramento found heavy loads of DDT and PCBs that are known to thin eggshells. The colony never came back.
So it's unclear exactly what the impacts are going to be. We have sampled water coming into the upper end of the slough. The preliminary results came back without major loads of troublesome chemicals, but we've asked for a deeper, more sensitive scan.
It's pretty tough to clean up the chemicals once they have dispersed in the environment, Silberstein says. It's like closing the barn door after the horses left.
I just don't think anybody ever imagined that some of these places would be underwater.
It looks like the single point that could have prevented the potential danger is the Pajaro levee that was scheduled to be repaired and never was. Dave Fellis says that they will be observing the breeding bird populations and the sea otters for any problems. For now, visitors can still find the same joy watching wildlife in Elkhorn Slough.
Come on out here and enjoy the slough. It's free. We got about 5 miles of trails. You can come out and go for a walk and, and see some cool birds and perhaps some sea otters off in the distance. So you definitely want to come to the Elkhorn Slough and bring your family.
For KSQD, this is Elnaz Sarbar Boczek.